Hello and welcome to another episode of the Real Estate Investing Club. I'm your host, Gabe Peterson, and this is the place investors go to gain actionable advice, learn about current market trends, and hear war stories from other professional investors out there in the field today. Before we get started, I have two quick housekeeping items for you. First, if you like this episode, we would very much appreciate a like, subscribe, and share. It is the best way to support the show and keep it running far into the future. Second, if you're a new investor looking to get started in real estate or an experienced investor looking to take your investing to the next level, I've created an ebook just for you that will cover how to find deals that are actually deals, how to finance those deals with little to no money down, and how to exit those deals for maximum value. On top of that, I throw in an insane amount of free bonuses that you'll have access to once you buy the ebook. All I charge is our admin costs to keep this show running. So if you're serious about real estate investing and want to create both active and passive income as an investor, head on over to the website at therealestateinvestingclub.com and click on the button that says get the ebook in the upper right-hand corner to grab yourself a copy. With that said, let's dive right in. Today we have a very special guest with us, ready to drop some investor knowledge on you. So buckle up, grab your pen and paper, and enjoy the ride. All right, we are back with another episode of the Real Estate Investing Club. Today we have Culin Tate with us from Host Coach. Culin is a pro at Airbnb investing, short-term rentals. I know this is a theme this day, but we're in the summer and that's when people use these. So I'm super excited. Culin, thank you very much for hopping on the show.
Yeah, happy to be here. Excited to be here.
Absolutely. I told you before we got on here, we like to start with stories. We like to hear how people kind of got into real estate in the first place. I'm sure you got a good one. So why don't you take us to the beginning? How'd you get started?
So I've always been intrigued by real estate. Always heard those stories of friends and family, that picked up that beach house for $40,000 and, 20 years later, it's worth, $1 million. And that always stuck with me. And I always wondered, where are deals like that for our generation? Are we ever going to see an opportunity like that? And then I had purchased a cabin just as a getaway place for my family. My son was maybe like 3 or 4 at the time. It was just that age where you just want to be somewhere other than your house. And I put it up on Airbnb, and it surprised me. We had intended just to keep it as a family place, but got convinced to try it out on Airbnb, and it basically rented every weekend since. And then in 2018, I had sold a company. I've always been an entrepreneur. I've never had a W-2. In 2018, I sold a company and started to scratch my head and say, man, what am I going to do next? What's the next startup? What's the next great idea? What's the next company to build? And I decided to hit the easy button. I saw how much money my one Airbnb property was making. And so I ended up that summer going out and one MLS purchase, one off-market deal, and one wholesale deal. Ended up purchasing 3 vacation rental properties that summer in 2018.
Nice, man. I love it. And I like that you kind of touched on all the different types of acquisitions there. So you got
I know, right? A little flavor of, and I didn't set out to buy 3. I set out to buy the MLS listing I set out to buy, and then it turned out that owner, I kind of did a little research and found out that she had a second off-market property, and approached her about that when I was looking at her MLS listing, and she said, I'd never sell it, and I made her an offer, and it turned out to be a really good one.
That's how it always works too. It's just I decided to put in an offer, and hey, turned out to work. So I love it. I mean, you got started, you weren't really thinking about it. You just bought a cabin, and it turned out to be a great investment. What type of cabin did you buy originally? Was it remote? Was it
kind of remote? So I live in right outside Washington, DC, and I say this all the time. Within a couple hours from any major metropolitan city, there's a place or places a couple hours away where people like to go. Maybe it's a mountain area, a river area, lakes, wineries, national parks. And so in our case, DC is about 2 hours from touching the Blue Ridge Blue Ridge Mountain chain, right? And the Blue Ridge Mountains run from, southern Pennsylvania down to northern Georgia. And all through that whole area is, getaway type cabins, little country type cabins. What we like to do is find them. One thing we like about that asset class is that there's a repurposing going on. So unlike buying a beach house where the business of renting it is baked into all the comparables and therefore it's priced per square foot, when we find these lake houses or river houses that were maybe just some family's individual getaway home, and then we purchase that and repurpose it into a fully occupied, we get kind of that additional arbitrage, that benefit of repurposing the asset from one use case to another. And that really helps supercharge the returns.
Yep. Repurposing, repositioning properties is a great way to add in the value. And out of curiosity, what was the original company that you built back in, what was that, 2018?
I've built a number of companies. The company that we sold in 2018 was a company, it's kind of boring. It helped nonprofits. It generated paperwork to help nonprofits become compliant to register for fundraising.
Nice. So nothing to do with real estate. I love it.
Nothing at all. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. I've had a electronics manufacturing company. I've had other software as a service companies. I was co-founder of a company called Co-Founders Lab that's still around. It's been sold and resold a few times, but it's a pretty cool software as a service that helps entrepreneurs find business partners.
Oh, wow. Very cool.
Yeah.
That would be a good opportunity. I feel like in the real estate space is find JV partners for something like that.
Yeah, it could be used for that.
There you go. Okay. So you bought this cabin, it turned into a great deal. Then you bought 3 more. After that, it sounds like you guys have kind of, you've scaled. So from that first cabin to where you are today, what were the few, if you could just kind of bucket it into a few catalysts, a few turning points, what were the big moments for your business?
I think, that first set of acquisitions, when I went from having a property to a small portfolio, right? What happened was that forced, that always forces you to find efficiencies, first of all, right? Yep. So, the first efficiency that we found was a messaging automation system that's called Hospitable. And it just responds to 5% of your guest inquiries, right? So can I book? Yes, you can. Here's the address, Okay, you did book. Here's all the information you needed to book. So I found some streamlined efficiencies there through that automation. I also, having the portfolio, the most fun part was to be able to test different things, right? They're kind of in the same market, but what if I redo this bathroom, but not that bathroom? What if I add a hot tub over here? What if I turn this price up and this price down? I found pricing automation tools, right? So I use one called Price Labs that literally knows the supply and demand. So it'll know the vacancy in the neighborhood, and it'll know how many people are searching for a place to stay in that neighborhood. And just like the airlines, it just turns your price
up or down. Connects to the back end of Airbnb and all that kind of stuff.
So that took a cabin that was, making $4,000 a month, top line gross, to 6,000. Oh,
wow. That's great.
Yeah. And this is pre-COVID. When we get to that inflection point, as soon as, as quickly or slowly as you want to, but having the portfolio and being able to really study the available tools and compare things and test things, and having the cash flow from a portfolio, right? To be able to okay, these 3 are making money, but this one's, a new rent, this one needs some renovation, to be able to go over and put that cash flow into that, helped really scale things as well.
Gotcha. So it sounds like at the beginning, it was a lot of tools that you put into place, pricing automation, automated responses, stuff like that really allowed you to build the business and step back from it. You mentioned that there were a number of properties that you did specific changes to the property itself to increase the value, to increase the desirability of the property. What is the top 3 things that you see people do to a property to change it into an Airbnb that you feel brings the most value to that property?
So we like to say we like to say rustic on the outside and crate and barrel on the inside. So, you know, easy enough from the exterior perspective, to do a coat of paint or add some trim, or if it's already set up and looks like a cabin, great. So in the property selection, you want something people want to stay, a place that's not like their house, right?
Right.
So then the inside, where I think a lot of people go wrong in Airbnb, is they just go in, they leave whatever furniture was there, or they put in some used furniture, they take some pictures with their iPhone, and then they wonder why their property is not performing. So our properties, we go for like super clean crate and barrel type of look and feel inside. And you can do that very inexpensively with sheets and curtains, bedspreads, and just really crisp, clean furniture. And then here's the biggie: professional HDR photography.
Mm-hmm. I
Right?
know from selling properties that definitely helps.
Right? But the difference between selling a property, right? This, when you're selling a house and getting great photography, gets them to come visit the house, right?
Yep.
In a short-term rental, your photos are all you have to sell that night.
Yep. Makes sense. You got to get that fisheye lens view from the property. That definitely sells it.
People are making their full purchase decision based on those photos, and you can really see, particularly Airbnb, because they're stacked up, against each other. It's real obvious which one to click on, or which one you're going to be drawn to click on, when you have like professional HDR photography of this bright, clean place versus the dingily lit iPhone photos.
Yeah,
So
makes
you can
sense.
perform like, on a scale 3, 4, 5 times better than other properties just with that alone.
With the pictures alone. Yep. How about management? I know that, one of the things that has taken me away from Airbnbs, me and my, just the side note, me and my girlfriend have wanted to do a Hobbit house Airbnb.
Nice.
We've seen one and we thought it would be awesome to do in the area. But the main thing that kind of keeps me from going forward with the plan is management. I feel like management of short-term rentals, Airbnbs, can be kind of a nightmare. But I know, people like you who are scaling, you've got systems in place. So what is the key to really managing these short-term rentals efficiently?
So there, I won't sugarcoat that there's definitely some time involved up front to set the place up.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of operations, I think the keys are looking at it as a business person would, right? So yes, there's going to be tools, there's automated messaging softwares. They're going to take care of 90% of your issues. We use Google Docs to share our cleaning calendars with our housekeepers. We just Zelle payments to our housekeepers, on Mondays. So that stuff is really the business part of it. The transactional pieces really isn't much labor at all. I mean, you're talking like 15, 20 minutes a week.
Okay.
More, I think, where people get hung up is in the guest relations issue, and getting sucked into drama with guests.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of Airbnb hosts say, well, this is my house and I make the rules, and the guests shouldn't expect that. But if you look at it from the lens of, I'm a hospitality provider, I'm the Ritz-Carlton, right? Okay, it's a bad guest, we can smile, accommodate them, refund their cleaning fee, and then they're gone. Right? They're gone in 2.3 days, and then our next 10 guests are going to be wonderful. I think a lot of people get hung up on, this is my place and I make the rules, and the guest was kind of rude, but in business we wouldn't say that. We deal with clients that aren't always our favorite, but we just smile through it. We put on a professional tone, and we just move on. I think that's where a lot of people get hung up.
Yep, that makes sense to me. And you guys self-manage, right? You don't have third party?
We self-manage, yes.
Gotcha. So the other thing that has kind of kept me from this, from getting into short term, is just the market itself. From, what is it, 2010 to now, the short term rental market has just exploded. And it's gone from, Airbnb being kind of this niche thing that every once in a while you jump on, prices would be super low, be in somebody's random cabin, to now where prices are essentially the same as hotels. And you get really nice places like the one you're talking about with crate and barrel style looks. So where do you see the market going? Do you feel like there's been kind of a saturation point, or do you think that there's still room to grow in the short-term rental market?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of runway. There's a lot of room for growth, right? Back to your point about the costs. I joke with my wife all the time about staying in a hotel. And she's like, "Why don't we stay in our cabin?" I'm like, "We can't afford to stay in our cabins. We can go stay in Ritz Carlton if you'd like. That's like $200 a night. I'm not going to stay at $500 a night in one of my cabins, right?" So I think that it's gone from a value based proposition to an experience-based proposition. Right? So post-COVID, particularly, people are looking to get out of their house. It's changed the way people travel. It's changed the way people view experiences, the way people value experiences. So people are wanting to get out of their house and be somewhere, work somewhere, more interesting. And they're willing to pay for it. So the old school hosts that aren't willing to invest in their properties, invest in technology, and turn their prices up, they're going to be the hosts that struggle. Kind of the newer age hosts that have an investment mindset, a business mindset, who use the tools. Some of the tools that we talked about, they're the implementation rate of like 5%.
Oh, wow.
Right? So just the things that we've talked about in the last 15 minutes would take every one of your listeners from like the average host to like, top 3%.
Wow. Okay.
So I think that's really where the opportunity lies, is that a lot of people aren't doing it at a elite professional level at this point. So that allows the real estate investor who understands some of these basics to get in and have an opportunity, because you're competing with a lot of sort of just
mom and pop
people mom and pop, right? Or just, I had a place and I put it on, on the market, as opposed to really running a real estate business.
Yep. Yeah, that sounds similar in the self-storage space and mobile homes park and RV space. There's a lot of, or there were a lot, now there aren't as many, but there were a lot of mom and pop owners. They didn't have, online rentals. They didn't have systems, all that stuff. And just by implementing those small systems, you really, increase your competitiveness in the market. So
yeah, I heard one of the experts, I actually got kind of interested in self-storage at one point. I heard one of the kind of industry experts talking about basically forcing appreciation through, changing pricing, and how that never happens, it wasn't happening traditionally in the self-storage, and how much opportunity that was bringing to the short-term the self-storage investor. And yeah, it's the same kind of thing with short-term rentals, is that we can force price appreciation, we can force property appreciation. We're making the place better every 2 to 3 days. We're making it showroom perfect every 2 to 3 days. So that means we're always going in and, as opposed to having a long-term rental where you've got it deteriorates over a year. You come in at the end of the lease and you paint and carpet and, start over. We're continually improving, our investment in our short-term rental, just little things, right? Just every week, every month, little things are getting fixed and improved.
Perfect. The Kaizen way. I love that. All right. I just took a peek at the clock. We have gone through our initial segment here. So it is time to jump into the quick question round. Are you ready?
Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
All right. Let's do it. It starts with education. I'm a big bookie, so give me 2 recommendations, one for general life wisdom and one for real estate specific. If you're not into books, or you'd rather do, you prefer podcasts or whatever, just any recommendation for education. One real estate, one.
Richest Man in Babylon for general. And then Gary Keller's book, A Millionaire Real Estate Investor.
Gary Keller, yeah, those are classics. I love it. And The Richest Man in Babylon, that's also, I love books that take concepts like, what The Richest Man in Babylon's talking about and turn it into a story, because it makes it so much more palatable for me. I love it.
Yeah. I reread that one all the time.
Yep, it's a good one. That moves us to our next question, and this is for your younger self. So if you could go to the Tate, who is still building, still out there building businesses and had no idea about real estate, hadn't bought that first cabin yet, go to him, look him in the eye, give him one piece of advice moving forward.
Yeah, get started earlier. Real estate is about solving problems. Is the way I look at it, as being a problem solver. And a lot of people don't solve that first problem, right? Getting started. So, just getting started and knowing that there's, solvable problems out there, and you solve them one at a time, and then they just become easier and easier, and more opportunity comes to you. So I just started earlier solving those problems.
There you go. I swear to God, I think it's like 80% of the people that come on the show say start earlier. So if you're out there and you have an interest in short-term rentals or any type of real estate, take
out.
this as your moment. You got to get out there, just get started. We all wish we started earlier. So get started. Moves us to the next question. This is tools. And I'm sure you got a lot of good recommendations here, but tools, specifically software tools, are the backbone of any real investor's business. And so give me 1, 2, 3, if you want to go more than one, recommendations on software tools that you feel contribute the most to your business.
Yeah, we talk about it. We call it like our tech stack. So, starting off, the first thing, kind of a chronological, as people are evaluating a market or a property, there's a great software called AirDNA that gives you all kinds of, average daily rates, occupancies, all the market research that you would want to understand when evaluating a potential investment property. And then from AirDNA, we move into Price Labs for automating your pricing, Hospitable for automating your messaging, and then from those would be the big ones.
Perfect. Price Labs, Hospitable, and AirDNA. I love it. Moves us on to the next one. This is for habits. Habits form the foundation of our life. So if you could point to one thing you do day in and day out that you feel contribute the most to your overall health, well-being, and happiness, what would that be?
I think we just stay consistent. We don't let the highs get too high and the lows get too low, and we just kind of keep moving through it. I run the business with my wife, and but then we also we'll take a break. But I think staying consistent, staying focused on what's the next task at hand.
Yep. Consistency is the key for sure. And I like that you said, cut out the highs and the lows, just stay in the middle, because that is, I don't know how many times I've got to almost the closing table and I knew a deal was going to close and it didn't close. And so if you just don't get too excited, don't get too down, just stay right in the middle. That's the sweet spot. Yeah. All right. And this leads us to the second to last question. The United States is a very big place. There's a lot of square miles out there. So what is your favorite metro that is not your backyard that you're most excited to invest in today?
I'll answer that question just a little bit differently. I would tell your listeners to think about where they like to spend time. If a couple hours from where you live, you like to go to wineries, or you like to go to the lake, or you like to ski, find a place that you're passionate about, because you're going to want to spend time there. You're going to want to tell people about it. And as opposed to looking at the general, a large set of lists and what's the best market in terms of some numbers, I tell people find where, right? Find where they would be passionate about building a portfolio of investment properties.
I love it. That's great advice. That leads us to the very last question. It's how to get in contact with you, but I'm going to add a little bit of spice to that one, because I know you are also the founder of hostcoach.co, and that is a coaching platform for people who are interested in Airbnbs or short-term rentals. So give a little blurb about that one, and then the best way for someone to get in contact with you.
Yeah, absolutely. So hostcoach.co is the website. There's information about myself and my wife Danielle. We do individualized coaching. We do a free assessments, 20-30 minute seminar that you can sign up for. There's information we've written. We took our personal experiences and tools and learnings and developed that into a book called Host Coach that's available on Amazon. And it's a little bit different, I think, than a lot of Airbnb investing books, because it's not so much a review of the available features and softwares. It's really everything that we do to operate our portfolio. And we just share all of that in the book.
Perfect. And best way is hostcoach.co, correct? Just go there. Correct. And they'll reach out to you through that platform or through that website. Perfect. Yep. All right. Well, Culin, that wraps it up. Thank you very much for hopping on the show.
Thanks, Gabe. It was a pleasure.
Absolutely. And for everybody who's here with us today, thank you guys for showing up. You are the reason we do this. So if y'all have any questions whatsoever, as always, reach out to me, Gabe at therealestateinvestingclub.com. Other than that, hope you guys have a great week. Keep rocking real estate, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Thank you for joining us for another episode of the Real Estate Investing Club. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode as much as I enjoyed putting it on, and we're able to pull some actionable advice that you can apply in your own investing today in the field. Before you go, we have a gift for you. If you're a new investor looking to get started or an established investor looking to take your investing to the next level, I've created an ebook just for you, available on our website. This ebook will cover how I was able to create both active and passive income in real estate with very little money to start with. In it, I will address the 3 most often cited obstacles new and veteran investors run into by showing you how to find deals that are actually deals, how to finance a deal with little to no money down, and how to exit those deals for maximum value. And if you get the ebook today, I am throwing in a bundle of bonuses, 7 of them to be exact. The first one will be the off-market lead generation blueprint, which will take you through the exact systems and processes we use to generate off-market leads like clockwork, which is the most important skill when it comes to creating wealth in real estate. The second bonus is the A to Z REI systems and vendors guide, which will allow you to peek under the hood of our business and see the exact tools, systems, and even the vendors we use to see the success that we do. And the third bonus is the top 100 best performing keywords pack, which will give you the exact keywords we use to target motivated sellers online using PPC ads. The fourth bonus is our contracts bundle for wholesaling and renting real estate, which will give you access to all the contracts we use in the field to execute all different types of transactions. After that is the Investors Quick Analysis Calculator and Offer Tool, which will allow you to quickly calculate whether a deal is an actual deal and will allow you to create an offer automatically from those calculations. This is a lot of bonuses that I said. I'm just going to keep going down the list. Number 6 is the Investors Daily Success Tracker, which is a tracker you can use to ensure you are taking the right actions day in and day out to reach your financial goals in real estate. And the last bonus is the Wholesalers Template for Quick Assignment Cash, which will give you the templates we use to present our wholesale deals professionally and efficiently to our buyers. Whew, that is a bundle. So it's a mouthful. You get all of those bonuses for free when you download the ebook. All we charge is the admin cost to run the show. So if you're interested in the ebook and the bonus bundle, head on over to the website at therealestateinvestingclub.com. Click on Get the Ebook Bundle at the top of the page to take advantage of that deal. And with that said, I hope you have a fantastic day and even better week. Keep rocking real estate, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.